I'm a huge Moe Norman fan. I mean, I've probably watched 90% of everything that's ever been filmed of the guy. Yeah. I've just gone down these rabbit holes for years and years now, for the past 15 years. But so the first golf magazine I ever bought was a Golf Digest. They had done like a 30-page article on Moe, and it was right when I started playing golf. And I was like, wow, okay, this guy seems incredible. And I had started to hear all these stories about him, but I was thinking I should try and play like he does, because he makes it look so simple. And I didn't for years. Probably about a dozen years later, I was just kind of at this slump where I felt like I was at this ceiling where I couldn't get past in my golf swing. So I started reading about Moe, and there was a couple websites totally dedicated to his swing, his grip, his thought process, all these videos, him talking about the swing and how it's an arm swing, it's not a lower body swing, just all these different things he would talk about, and then reading all the different stories about him. And I just thought, I'm gonna try this. And the first day, I went to the range and I practiced it, kind of got my hands up on the plane more, and quieted my hands down. And it was the first time I ever felt like I could feel where the face is at the top of my backswing. I could feel it square to the line or not, I could tell where my club was pointing, and it just seemed to simplify it for me. So for a few years, I played really strictly like that. Really exaggerated hands up
rigid,
on the plane.
Yeah.
Really like a rigid form of it, yeah. And I would say like a mellow form, it would probably be like Steve Stricker.
Yeah.
Where he's
Jason Day, sort of body.
Maybe Day,
body
yeah.
rotation.
I mean, Bryson, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's more upright than Moe was.
Yes.
And a lot more powerful and driving with the lower body and that kind of thing. But I think the first day I played around with a single plane and 10-finger grip too. I went the whole hog. Like I've been 10-finger grip now for probably 15 years. But the first day I think I made like 4 birdies in my round. I was like, oh, this works. I'll just stick with this. And then I dropped my handicap I was probably at about a 5 or 7, and I dropped down to about a 2 pretty quickly from there. And then I felt like I could go out, and even if I had a bad round, I still was gonna shoot an okay score. I wasn't losing the ball, with my traditional swing, I would just get the face shut so much and hit the ball so low. And I wasn't dropping the club down and in. I was just kind of like whip hooking the ball a lot. I was just the way I was getting the club set at the top. So it just simplified the game for me. And then I've kind of come back to a version that's somewhere sort of in between a traditional, it's just a more relaxed single plane, I guess. It's not really extremely like reverse
it's a modified
wrist.
version.
Yeah, it's like a modified one.
It's so not the style that I would think just an artist, somebody whose profession is so based in feel and, creativity and stuff would be attractive for.
But I also, like, as I watch videos of Moe, I think he was an artist,
Well, he was. It's
he was
true.
so unique. He was not scared to offend anyone. Mm-hmm. He wasn't worried about what the people thought about him or about his swing. He just knows, I can line up 10 golf balls and I can hit a pole out there 250 yards probably twice in those 10 balls. That was his mindset. Mm-hmm. I remember him, I think he challenged Dave Pells. He goes, you can putt a 50-foot putt and I'll hit a 250-yard drive and we'll see I'll hit the pole before you can make a 50-foot putt. And Pells said, I was sure he'd beat me.
Yeah.
But all these weird stories I'd hear about him, I heard this story, he was playing in Florida, he was playing with a Canadian pro, and he asked the pro, he goes, how far is this hole? He goes, I don't know, Moe, it's like a driver 9-iron. So Moe hits a 9-iron off the tee and hits a driver to 3 feet and makes the putt. Plays the hole backwards. So I'm playing Sherwood one time, and I'm paired up with I'm with a buddy, and then we're paired with this Canadian pro. I go, do you ever know Moe Norman? He goes, oh yeah, I played some golf with him. I was like, oh, I heard this story about him playing golf, and this guy told me, he goes, that was me. He goes, I told him it was driver 9-iron. He goes, sure enough, he hit 9-iron off the tee, had like 240 yards into the hole, hit driver off the ground to like 3 feet and made the putt. He goes, he would do stuff like that all the time because there's no exaggeration to these stories. And
so we can confirm that one, that legend.
We can confirm that one, yeah. And I don't know, I'm sure that with anybody, with any story, there's a little exaggeration to it, and there's probably that with some of the stories, but when you're listening to him talk and you watch him hit balls and you see the ball flight and you hear the sound coming off the club, it was so enjoyable to see somebody like that. And although I never met Moe, he played in Central Florida like 6 months a year, and he played with some people that I know. He played at the local college, Brevard Community College, and so I guess because that was my first golf magazine I ever bought, and because he was in my hometown for a lot of those years, I felt some sort of kinship with him, because he saw the swing differently, and I always felt like I saw surfing differently. So I always related to him, and I think there's some part of his mind that was so obsessive and so in love with golf, and that's the way I've always been with surfing. So I really kind of have always gravitated to anything Moe Norman I love, because it's just so quirky and interesting.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Kelly Slater, Moe Norman, spirit animals.
Yeah, he's my golf spirit animal.
Yeah.